Kelly Brush.
And I'm Greg Durso, Program Director of the Kelly Brush Foundation. Welcome to KBF Live Northeast.
We are so excited that you're joining us tonight, so grab a drink, relax, and get excited about learning more about the Kelly Brush Foundation.
Woo!
Hey everyone, and welcome to KBF Live Northeast. I am so excited that you're joining us. I'm Kelly Brush. I hope we're gonna have a great night tonight. My guess is for a lot of you, this is not your first Zoom call of the day, so we're gonna make sure to keep it to an hour, but hopefully it's gonna be really fun. We have a great cocktail demo for you. We've got some great videos about the Kelly Brush Foundation and the impact of our mission. We have an introduction to Edie Perkins, who's our new executive director, and we've got a chance to connect with some of our awesome KBF grant recipients that are all across the country. And all of this is to support the Kelly Brush Foundation in our mission to help people with spinal cord injuries get out and be active. So tonight, I hope you're gonna learn a lot more about the Kelly Brush Foundation, but I also hope that you feel inspired to support us. We're gonna put a link in the chat where you can donate at any point tonight or even after the event when you're feeling moved by the impact of our mission. But before we get to all that good stuff, I want to go over a couple of things. First, I know that some of you guys received a cocktail kit from us with broken glasses. Apparently, we're better at getting people active than we are at packaging, but I'm sorry about that. If you did receive glasses, please email us. We'll get some new ones to you, hopefully a little bit better package this time. I also want to make sure that you all know that this is being recorded so that anybody who can't be here tonight is able to watch it another time. As you probably have realized, you're all muted, but there will be a chance to unmute later in the night when we go into breakout rooms. But for now, feel free to use the chat, say hi to other people who you know, ask any questions that you have, or tell us we're doing awesome. If you have any issues, give Seth Conkle a call. He is our tech guru for the night. You can send him a direct message through the chat, or we'll put his phone number in the chat right now, so you can go ahead and give him a call if you have any issues. Hopefully we won't have any issues. Hopefully my dog doesn't bark. Hopefully my internet doesn't go out, but we'll make it work either way. All right, so as nice as it would be to be together tonight and sharing a cocktail in person, we thought that the next best thing would be to send all of the ingredients to you guys so that we could make your own. So I'm excited to have Greg help us craft a Whiskey Pig maple leaf cocktail tonight. So let's get to it.
Hi, I'm Greg Durso, and I'm the Program Director at the KBF, and I'm back as your bartender for tonight's cocktail demonstration. I'm here at the incredible restaurant, Peg and Tears, located in beautiful Shelburne, Vermont, and I couldn't be happier to support the Kelly Brush Foundation. To get into the spirit of tonight's event, I'll be walking you through how to whip up the delicious Whistle Pig Maple Leaf Cocktail. Each of you should have gotten a cocktail kit with all the ingredients you need. We have local butternut Maple Farms maple syrup, fresh lemons, cinnamon sticks, and of course, our cool KBF rock glasses. I hope you guys had the opportunity to get out and get some Whistle Pig rye whiskey, another amazing local brand from Vermont, and if not, you can use whatever bourbon or whiskey you have around. So let's get started. First, we're gonna add 2 ounces of the Whistle Pig whiskey into our glasses. Next, we're gonna add 1 ounce of our maple syrup, which is about 1/3 of the bottle. Now we're gonna give that a really, really good stir. And next, we're gonna add about 1/2 ounce of our fresh squeezed lemon, which is about half of the lemon actually squeezed. Right in there. And again, we're really gonna give that a really good mix. Last but not least, we're gonna add some ice to give it a really good chill. And we're gonna garnish that with a cinnamon stick. I really like to Give us a good swirl around first to really get the flavors going. See, simple, easy, and delicious. If you make a gift in support of the Kelly Brush Foundation tonight, you'll be entering a chance to win a bottle of Whistle Pig whiskey. Whistle Pig has generously donated some 12-year and 15-year bottles of whiskey, so there'll be a few lucky winners. So on that note, I hope you guys have an amazing evening. I'll cheers to that.
All right, well, that was awesome. I'm glad we could infuse a little bit of Vermont flavor into tonight's event. So cheers, everyone. And I also want to thank Whistle Pig for that really generous donation. It is good stuff, so make a donation tonight to make sure that you're entered to win. All right, so before we dive into our mission tonight, I want to take a moment and recognize our committee members and our sponsors of KBF Live Northeast. We can't thank this group enough for supporting the KBF and making tonight possible. Our goal is to raise $200,000 tonight, and I really hope that you're going to help us get there. All right, so this year marked the 15th anniversary of my spinal cord injury and the founding of the Kelly Brush Foundation. As many of you probably know, I was injured while ski racing in 2006. Within a couple of months of my accident, my family and I had founded the Kelly Brush Foundation to help others with spinal cord injuries be active and live their best lives. I want to take a minute and share a video that shares a little bit more about my story and what we do at the KBF. Take a listen.
Our family started skiing when the kids were really young, and skiing was just a great family sport.
My mom and dad always said that, you know, they only had 2 kids because they wanted to be able to fit us on the quad as a family.
Kelly started skiing when she was about 4 years old, and she started racing when she was 7.
She always had a desire to go fast. Maybe it's a family trait, but she picked it up for sure.
When I grew up, skiing was a huge part of our lives. It was just something that we loved and we loved to do together. The ski team at Middlebury is incredible. They became my best friends, and they still are today.
We started dating the end of our freshman year. She was always smiling, always happy, always upbeat. Nothing really got her down. I remember the week before her injury. She was coming in with a lot of potential. She was skiing really well. She was certainly, I think, skiing as fast as she ever had.
Saturday was a cold day, perfect conditions.
I skied the top half of the course perfectly. I felt like I couldn't have skied it any better, and I was doing really well. And I don't know exactly what happened. I remember coming down and coming over a knoll.
And as she went by me, her ski caught on something and she got spun around backwards, and there she went down the hill and off the side. I put my camera down for a second and I just saw her helmet rolling down the hill.
And I get down there and I look at her and I know right then that this is really, this is not just an injury, this is something serious.
I was laying in a hospital bed. I had a tube down my throat so I couldn't talk. And my family was standing around me and I was just saying, what happened? I had broken my back, which caused a spinal cord injury. I had a fractured vertebrae in my neck. I had several broken ribs and a collapsed lung.
And I remember them sitting down and saying it's highly unlikely that she's gonna walk again.
And you know, you just start to come to grips with it and you just say, okay, this is what we have, let's move forward.
I felt like I'm never gonna be able to be an athlete again. I'm never gonna be able to do these things that I love again. And that was really devastating for me. But when I learned about adaptive sports, I learned that that's not the case. And I learned that there are so many things that I can still do.
One day we went for a hand cycle ride for the first time, and I actually got on a hand cycle and Kelly got on and we rode around. I said, okay, this isn't bad, this is fun.
It was amazing to have that feeling again. It was like the classic, you know, wind in your hair, breathing hard, all of that kind of stuff that I so missed and felt like I wasn't going to have anymore. After I left rehab, my goal was to get back to my life before. So I went back to Middlebury and graduated on time with my original class. I got married. I had a baby a few years ago. There's a lot that I've been able to do, and I really honestly feel like my life today is not that different than it would have been if I didn't have my accident.
The love for an active lifestyle is universal. There are 12,000 new spinal cord injuries every year, and for the percentage of that population that really wants to find their identity again through being active, but are finding the emotional and financial barriers to being able to do it, that's who the Kelly Brush Foundation wants to be there for.
Whether or not you were an athlete before, it can really open your mind up to things that you can still do and what's still possible. We're now helping hundreds of people every year across the country buy adaptive sports equipment. We're getting people out doing any sport that they want to do and allowing people to be active.
Getting that grant gave me the opportunity to be a regular skier again.
It's incredible what the Kelly Brush Foundation does. This adaptive equipment changes lives. Not just our lives, but our families' lives. My whole family gets to go out for bike rides.
It's propelled me to do things in my life I never thought I'd be able to do, and without them, I wouldn't be where I am today, and I can honestly say that. Thank you so much for changing my life.
Awesome. The Kelly Brush Foundation is just continuing to grow, and that's our goal. We just want to be able to help more people get out, be active, engage with their lives, their family, and their friends. That's why I love doing this, and that's why I think we're making such an important impact.
Well, it's really been remarkable to see how much of an impact we've made on so many people's lives. As I said in the video, we're helping hundreds of people every year purchase adaptive sports equipment, but we're also doing so much more. One of the reasons that I'm so excited that Edie joined us as the executive director this year is because she's also really focused on the growth of the KBF. So before I introduce Edie, I want to share a quick video about her story so you can learn a little bit more about her.
"10 minutes into the ride that I was going through an intersection, and I remember seeing a car coming at me and knowing there was nothing I could do. I have a complete spinal cord injury, which means I have no feeling or sensation below the point of injury to the spinal cord, which is right at my chest level. I did wake up with a halo brace on, and that was, contained me down to my waist, so I couldn't, the only thing I could move was my eyeballs, really. It was all about each little bit of progress. I remember I'd get so excited because I could sit and take my hands off the bed and not fall over. It was each of those little, anytime I made any little progress, I'd be so excited because it was a step further. But it was terrifying to go home, and all the spinal cord injury vets say rehab doesn't begin until you go home, and that was so true. Just things like getting dressed and transferring from my wheelchair to the toilet or to the bed and taking a shower alone for the first time. All those things were terrifying, but once I did it, I felt like it was the biggest sense of accomplishment. My best time was 2:52 in the New York City Marathon back in 2005. And I also came in 25th in the Boston Marathon that same year. Even right after the injury, and I guess this is maybe when it was starting to sink in, I just had this vision of being totally independent and being, I thought back to the Boston marathons that I'd run and the New York City marathons that I'd run, and I remembered all the disabled athletes that I'd see in the race, and I remember it was so emotional. I'd get so emotional seeing people go by in race wheelchairs or hand cycles and think, God, how that must be brutal, but they're doing it, and how cool is that? Well, thank you, Kelly, for that very nice introduction. And good evening, everyone. We're so happy to have all of you here, and we've got a fantastic turnout tonight. Anyone who knows me knows that joining the Kelly Brush Foundation is a dream come true. It's exactly the kind of work that I want to be doing. And for those of you who are just getting to know me now, well, I'm glad you got to see that video, and I'm sure after seeing it, you get a better sense of why the KBF mission is so important to me. Again, welcome. To those of you who are brand new to the KBF, we're so pleased that you're here and that you want to learn more. And to those of you who are returning and are our long-term supporters, we thank you. We're so grateful to your support. And it is because of that support that we're able to have an impact on as many lives as we do. So welcome all, and cheers. We hope that you enjoy the cocktails as well as tonight's program. And next up, a couple weeks ago, Kelly and I had a conversation that we recorded, and we want to share it with you. So check it out.
Well, I'm so excited, Edie, that we are doing this. I was lucky enough to get to know you through the interview process and then the last few weeks and months that you've been working with the KBF. But I'm really excited that other people are going to get to know you because you have such an awesome story to share, and it's going to be so great. So can you talk a little bit about what got you excited about the Kelly Brush Foundation and why you wanted to join our team?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most of all, I'm just so excited that I get to dedicate all my time and energy to the mission and to helping people with spinal cord injuries live active and engaged lives. A little bit about my background. I spent 20 years in educational publishing and technology. And in that field, I worked in marketing and sales, product management. So I have a lot of experience building businesses. But my real passion is sports. That's when I come alive and really feel connected to the world around me and to the people that I'm with. So for years, I fantasized about how could I bring those two things together? It's my dream job, and I'm so excited to be here with you and the rest of the team and all of our supporters to help people in the spinal cord injury community.
I think that's so cool. I love how things just sort of happen at the right time for everybody. And for us, I feel like it's so similar because we're at this really interesting sort of inflection point with the Kelly Brush Foundation, which we've been at multiple different times in our history of KBF. But, you know, we've been able to do so much recently, and we've you know, over the last 15 years, we've been able to provide adaptive sports equipment to over 1,000 people with spinal cord injuries in 48 states. We've supported 16 adaptive sports programs around the country. We've partnered with 4 of the biggest rehab facilities that specialize in spinal cord injuries. And we've tripled our revenue over the last 5 years. And then not to mention, you know, our average grant size is $3,500, but our average request is $5,500. So we're still really short of what we want to provide to everybody. So, you know, we're at this really cool place where we've done a ton and we've been growing a ton, but we have so much more potential and so much more to do, which is really a fun place to be in right now.
I know, it's amazing what you've been able to do so far. You've changed so many people's lives and had such a big impact. And that's one of the things that I love so much about the Kelly Brush Foundation. Another thing that I love about it and what makes it really unique is its complete focus on the spinal cord injury community. We understand how grueling and how isolating and lonely that journey can be. So the fact that the Kelly Brush Foundation is so focused on helping people with spinal cord injuries really makes it different. And I also love that we want to be there for people every step of the way, from the very beginning, right after their injury, all the way to when they're ready to get out and go on their own. And we help everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a mom who just wants to go for a bike ride with your kid, or if you're going for gold in the Paralympics, we're there for you.
Totally. Yeah. And that's been something that's been really fun to see grow over the years too, and see the different stories of our grant recipients take off and what they're doing. And, you know, I love equally the person who's winning Paralympic gold medals, as well as the person who's riding around the neighborhood with their kids. So I think that that's a really unique part of KBF also, that we really can help everybody and understand, you know, the difference and the importance of an active lifestyle, no matter what your life is, and no matter what you're doing, and that can still be equally important to everybody. So yeah, that's a huge part of it too for me.
Yeah.
There's so much more with all of that. I mean, you said a mouthful there, right? From injury to independence, and where we can help everybody along that way. We have so much potential and so much that we can do and that we want to do. What are some of the things that you're excited about to, you know, explore with the KBF now?
Oh, there's so many things. So the challenge is going to be staying focused and making sure we have good traction on all that we want to do. In the few months that I've been here, I've learned so much from you and from the rest of the KBF team and our supporters and the SCI community. So there are a number of things that I think we should really focus on as we try to expand. You know, it's all about the impact. I want to make sure that we're having the biggest impact on the most amount of people as possible. And everyone has such good ideas for how to make that happen. You know, each year there's 18,000 new spinal cord injuries, and that's adding to the 300,000 that are already part of this exclusive club that we're in. You know, reaching all of them is our goal. That's our vision. We want everybody with a spinal cord injury to be able to live active and engaged lives. So as we look at our programming, some of the great ideas that I've heard are, how can we reach people earlier on in that road to independence? How can we work with even more to do educational sessions about adaptive sports when people are still just kind of coming to the realization that life will be very different? We want to shed hope and share what possibilities are out there. So I think there's stuff we can do in the early phases. I also think that there's that very delicate phase after you get out of rehab, when you go home. So looking at ways that we can reach people soon after their injury, or when they're new to being interested in adaptive sports. How can maybe we can provide camps and clinics, or offer people the ability to go to camps and clinics through scholarships. But I think reaching people in that phase when they're new to sports and showing them all the different recreational activities that exist out there will have a really big impact. So expanding our programming is one of the things that I think everyone on our team is excited about doing.
Totally. Well, we've got nothing to do, so
yeah.
I guess we should get to it. But I'm so excited about all of this. I'm so excited that you're joining us. And I'm so excited about where we're going and all the things that we have to look forward to with KBF.
Me too. So glad everyone got to listen in on that conversation. As you can see, it's definitely an exciting time to be joining the foundation. And we do have our work cut out for us, but we're dying to get started with all of it. You may be wondering, how are we going to get all of this work done? Well, it's because of you and our supporters and people who are committed to the value and benefits of an active lifestyle and want to make that a possibility for everyone. As I mentioned in the conversation, there are two real focus areas that we have for the years ahead. One is scale. How are we going to reach the 300,000 and counting people in the United States who have suffered life-changing spinal cord injuries? And number two is, what programming can we develop to reach people earlier on after their injury? It's a really critical phase when people go home from rehab and they're prone to feeling isolated and depressed. We want to make sure that we develop programming that gets them back out into the world and gets them to experience what it's like to get out there and gets them back to being independent. So in just a sec, Kelly is going to share with you a new program that we have that aims to do both of those things. All right, Kelly, over to you.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Edie. It really was great to have that conversation, and it's amazing to see how aligned we are in our goals for the KBF. I know that a lot of us have been looking for silver linings during the craziness of the last year, and having Edie join our team has definitely been one of those. Speaking of COVID, with all of the changes that have come since COVID, that's allowed a lot of organizations to think differently, and that was definitely true for us. We had the time to really evaluate our programming and found opportunities to make an even greater impact. One of those programs that I'm really excited about is the Active Project. For this, I thought it was way better to show you than it was to tell you. So we're going to pull it up here so you can actually check it out. So the Active Project, which we launched in February of this year, is an interactive online platform for people with spinal cord injuries to share knowledge, build community, and create opportunities for being active. Our goal really was to have one-stop shopping and put all of the information about adaptive sports in one place. So I'll show you how it looks. When you go to the Active Project website, you have these 4 primary categories that you can check out: sports, community, places, and resources. The sports page is where you can explore all kinds of adaptive sports. There's a huge knowledge gap for so many people. You have no idea what's even possible. This page allows you to check out what's out there and see what it looks like. When you choose one that you're interested in, like an off-road hand cycle, you can see videos about what it looks like, what kind of equipment you'll need, and how you can actually use it. And it's interactive. So the SCI community has an opportunity to help build out this resource by adding videos and content. If you check out the community page, there's an interactive map of the US where you can make real connections with others with SCI. So often after a spinal cord injury, people feel really isolated. By creating this map, we're enabling connections for people who often find that really difficult. So you can zoom into your region or wherever it is that you're traveling to see who's out there, what sports they like, and then connect with them. Anyone with a spinal cord injury can request to join this map. So this map will just become more and more populated as time goes on. On the places page, you'll find another map, but this map is of the adaptive sports programs and other places that you can go and try a new sport. Even if somebody knows what they can do, they often have no idea where they can try it. This map breaks down that barrier. When you click on an icon, you'll find where they're located, what sports they offer, and then you can connect with them. And last, but definitely not least, is our resources page. So this page has tons of great information, including a list of equipment vendors for all kinds of adaptive sports, information on grant funding opportunities, and a great list of frequently asked questions. Like I said before, the Active Project is all of the information you need to know about being active after a spinal cord injury, all in one place. But more important than just equipment or information, this is a resource that exists to help foster and build community. And community is something that so many of us are craving right now more than ever with the isolation that's come from COVID. We're missing so many of those rituals that we never thought twice about: weddings, funerals, holiday gatherings. We don't get to go to that soccer game or church or out to dinner and run into that person who you never normally would call or text, but seeing them brings you so much joy. But at the same time, we're at this moment where we have so much hope. It feels like we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you can almost envision what it's going to be like to go back to normal. We're looking forward to doing those activities with friends that we haven't done in a year, or traveling to see family that live across the country, or even going back to the office, a place that you never thought you'd really miss. But those mundane interactions and that small talk really do fill you up. For someone a few months after having a spinal cord injury, they are feeling all of those things and probably 100 more. You're at home, living in a wheelchair that you hardly know how to use, still trying to figure out how to get your pants on or go to the bathroom. And all you really want is to go back to work, travel to see family, or do those activities that you always used to do with friends. With COVID, we can see the end in sight, but for someone with a spinal cord injury, this is their new normal. They don't get to go back to how it used to be. My journey out of that place was through sports. Sports are obviously really great at improving physical health, but they're even more important for emotional and mental health. It's our way of reclaiming that normalcy. So many people, not just those with spinal cord injuries, have been using sports to reclaim things they feel like they've lost during COVID, and are thinking about the sports and activities that they're really looking forward to. I bet a lot of you can think of a time when you were out on a bike or on the slopes or just in the middle of the woods somewhere, when even with everything going on in the world, you started to feel a little bit more normal because you were being active. That's the feeling that we at the Kelly Brush Foundation create for people with spinal cord injuries. Through the Active Fund, we've helped more than 1,000 people in 48 states reclaim that normalcy by helping them to purchase adaptive sports equipment. And with the Active Project, we're going to be helping thousands more build a new community of adaptive athletes, as well as give them the tools to help assimilate back into their own community. As I talked about a minute ago, there are so many barriers to being active after a spinal cord injury. With everything going on, our mission to help empower people to be active on their own terms could not be more important than it is right now. So while we're all here looking forward to the end of COVID, the Kelly Brush Foundation is looking forward to helping even more people with spinal cord injuries thrive through sports and recreation. And who better to talk about that than our awesome grant recipients? So I want to get you guys involved a little bit here and introduce you guys to some of our amazing KBF community members. So in just a minute, we're going to go into breakout rooms. In each of the rooms, there's going to be a KBF grant recipient and a KBF moderator who is either a staff member or one of our awesome host committee members. At our in-person events, I always encourage people to talk to somebody in a wheelchair and ask them something that they wouldn't normally ask somebody who you see on the street. This is going to be your safe space to do that. Tonight, we're joined by 17 KBF grant recipients, and actually a few more because we have a bunch of other people, so there'll be more scattered in there. But these people are from all across the country, and they do all sorts of different sports: skiing, biking, kayaking, horseback riding, you name it. But that's what's really cool about the KBF is that we support everyone, whether it's the dad who wants to go riding around the neighborhood with his kids, the weekend warrior who's up shredding the mountains, or that person who's dying to win Paralympic gold. But the thing that they all have in common is their passion for being active. And I'm just so happy that the Kelly Brush Foundation was there to support them. So if this all works, you're not going to have to do anything, and we're all going to pop out into breakout rooms. There might be a box that comes up and you have to click that clicks join breakout room. And then when the time comes, we'll all be brought back together. So this is the time of the night when you will be able to unmute. So look for the mute button in the bottom left of your screen. Once we get into the breakout rooms, there's going to be a countdown that's going to be up at the top right. So you can watch that, and that'll tell you how much time until we're coming back. So the moderators will start with some questions, but I really encourage all of you to ask any questions that you came with or that have come up tonight. All right? Well, if we're good, let's do this. All right.
We're all coming back.
Everyone is coming back. Okay. I think we got everybody back now. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed meeting all of those people. They are so amazing. We are just so thankful to have them involved, and I'm so glad that we can be even a small part of their story. So in the next couple of days, we are going to be posting all of the videos from tonight on our website, including a recording of each of the breakout rooms. So if there's somebody who you wanted to connect with or learn more about, but they weren't in your group, you can check those out on our website. So as I mentioned earlier, one of the things that I love so much about KBF is that we help all people with spinal cord injuries, regardless of where they are on their journey from injury to independence, how they like to get active, where they live, or how old they are. So I'm really excited to introduce you guys to one final grant recipient tonight. Her name is Raylyn, and she is 9, and she's a big hockey player. We helped her get her own hockey sled this year, and I got to sit down with her and her mom, Melissa, to talk about all of this. So take a look. Well, hi, you guys. Thanks for joining us and being part of this. Hi, Raylyn. Well, I'm really excited that you guys are doing this. It's fun to get to know you guys. So, Alyssa, can you take me back a little bit and tell me a little bit about when Raylyn got sick and what happened there?
Yes. So she was born, typical kid, developed, walked early, very physically and intellectually advanced. Just a couple weeks after her 3rd birthday, she had an ear infection that, typical kid ear infection, antibiotics that cleared up, fevers went away, everything seemed to be normal. And then she started having a stomach ache, and the stomach ache, we doing all the, normal things, stool softeners, going to the pediatrician. We ended up in the emergency room more than once because she was in so much pain. And once she was finally admitted, 3 days later, she lost the use of her legs and was taken into MRI right away. And they found a bacterial abscess, which was a result of that ear infection a couple weeks back on her spinal cord. So she was rushed immediately into surgery to have that removed and flushed, and then spent 6 additional weeks in the hospital on IV antibiotics before she was transferred up to Chicago to the Rehab Institute of Chicago. That's now the Shirley Ryan Ability Lab.
You think you have kids and you have this sort of idea and plan of what you expect is going to happen, and then all of a sudden it totally takes a detour. That's got to be really hard to just sort of think differently a little bit.
Yes, and it has. It's changed our mindset on everything, every aspect of life, like all the small things that I feel like unknowingly we took for granted before Ray got sick. We have come to appreciate so much more. And hockey was a major part 3 years ago in changing a lot of our mindsets, because, as parents, we have those expectations that they'll, play the sports that we played or do the things that we wanted them to do as kids. And sled hockey gave her something to do that was hers and that she wanted, opposed to an expectation that we had as parents.
So what do you want to be when you grow up?
Well, I did. I wanted to be an astronaut, but I still kind of want to be one. But now I kind of want to be like a hockey player and be super good at it and be able to travel and all that stuff.
I'm so happy that the Kelly Brush Foundation was able to help you get that hockey sled, be part of this team. We're so proud to just be part of your story. Raylyn, you're doing awesome, and it was so fun to talk to you, get to know you more. And hopefully we can go skating together or hand cycling sometime. And I can't wait to meet you in person and just keep in touch and hear your story more.
Thank you. It was so nice to get to talk to you and get to know you guys, and we appreciate everything you've done for Ray.
Oh, Ray, she is amazing. And we had such a good time talking with her. Video does not do justice to the indomitable spirit that she is. She's really fantastic. And the Kelly Brush Foundation is proud to be part of her journey. And we look forward to supporting her all the way to the Paralympics. We're sure we'll see her there. Okay, but now I want to talk to you about the Active Fund. That's the program that the Kelly Brush Foundation is most known for. And it's what you've heard us talking about tonight. It's what enabled the people you met in the breakout rooms to get the equipment that they have. It turns out that tonight is not only KBF Live, it also happens to be the deadline for this spring grant cycle. And already we have an ask of about $700,000 by over 140 applicants. That's a record for us, which is great because it means we're reaching more people, and that's exactly what we want to do. But it also means we have more fundraising to do. And tonight is a very important night for us in our spring fundraising. We have an ambitious goal to raise $200,000, and judging from the pledges, things are coming in hot. We like it, it's great. And to get that life-changing equipment into as many hands as possible, we're gonna need your help. If you are moved by the mission, and hopefully after meeting the grant recipients, you really got to experience the impact that we have on so many lives, please make a pledge in whatever amount you are willing. And if you could let us know in the chat what that amount is, it will help us know, only if you're comfortable, it will help us know how we're trending towards our $200,000 goal. To make a donation, we've posted the link to the donation page in the chat. You can also send in a check by mail, and we included a pledge card with the cocktail kit. And of course, you can always go to our website, kellybrush.org. But I want to get back to the grant program. So we have received so many grant applications to help people get into the woods to hit the trails on off-road hand cycles. Do you know what it costs for an off-road hand cycle? It's $10,000. But this is an incredible experience for someone who lives most of their life on the pavement. And I know that to be true because I've been injured 4 years and only once have I been in the woods. And that was because my uncle strapped me down with bungee cords in a trailer on the back of his tractor. And it was amazing. So we would love it if we could make some of those dreams for off-road hand cycles come true tonight. Is anyone out there able to give $10,000? $5,000 is the average grant request. And $2,500 is what it costs for a sports chair. That's what's used for basketball, rugby, tennis. For an able-bodied person, that's what? Shorts, sneakers, maybe a basketball, a racket. That'll probably run you $200, $300 if you're going high end. We hope that we can make as many dreams come true tonight and get chairs into as many of our applicants' hands as possible. $1,000 is what we gave Raylyn. That gift got her active and out with friends, and it changed her life and gave her so much ambition and possibility. While we love getting grants that cover the entire piece of equipment, Anything that you can give makes a big difference. We're so grateful. Our grant recipients are so grateful. And every contribution made tonight, no matter how big or small, goes directly to impacting somebody's life. And finally, we're always looking for volunteers. If you want to get engaged in other ways by contacting one of our grant recipients, participating in an event, or helping us with some other project, we're always looking forward to that kind of volunteer. So go to our website and you will find the volunteer page there. Remember, if you made a gift to the Kelly Brush Foundation tonight, you'll automatically be entered to win either a 12-year or 15-year bottle of rye whiskey provided to us by our sponsor, Whistle Pig. So I propose a toast. Raise your glass to KBF and an active lifestyle that helps us in more ways than we can count. Cheers.
Well, cheers everyone, and thank you so much. It is incredible to see so many people here tonight. The chat is amazing, and you guys are so generous. I could not be more thankful for that. I hope that you guys are all feeling inspired and motivated by the conversation tonight, and I hope that you'll be joining us in making active lives possible for those who otherwise have so many barriers to overcome. Before we end tonight, because I know we're over our time, I just want to do a couple quick thank yous. First of all, to our grant recipients who are here tonight, thank you for sharing your amazing stories and letting us be part of your journey. To our KBF Live Northeast host committee, your tireless work really did make this event happen. And to our sponsors and donors this evening for everything, for helping to bring our mission to life every day. Thank you guys so much. We are so thankful for you all. Well, I don't know about you, but I feel like that hour has flown by, and this is the formal end of our programming, and I couldn't be more grateful that you're all joining us tonight to support our mission. But I also want to make sure that you all stay involved. Just by being here tonight, you've joined the KBF community, and I'm so grateful for that. So Edie and I are going to stay on for a few minutes to have a little question and answer time if there's any questions that have come up over the night. But I really want to be respectful of everybody's time, and as promised, let you guys go because I know we're a few minutes over. So what I'm going to do is thank our sponsors one more time. I'm going to give it 20 or 30 seconds and let anybody who wants to sign off go ahead, and then we'll come back in and answer a few questions. If you do have any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat and we'll be happy to answer those. Thanks, everybody. All right, this chat is so long. I don't think I can
not keep up. I know.
Keep up with it. All right, so I know we have a bunch of people who hopped off, but we have some people on still. So, Edie.
No, we do.
Let's see if we have some questions.
I know it's hard to keep the chats moving so fast. It's hard to keep up.
Will the recording be sent out? Yes, the recording will be sent out. We will send out in a follow-up email, hopefully tomorrow, if not tomorrow, the next day.
I saw one about when do I move. So for those who don't know, I'm still in LA and I am moving to Burlington, Vermont in June. I thought I'd wait until those nice, gentle summer months and ease my way into my first winter in 5 years.
Yes, I think you'll really enjoy it here in June. It's beautiful.
That's what I've been there in the summer and I remember how amazing it is.
There is a question I see here. What are the plans for the ride? That is a great question. Our plan for the ride is to hold a ride in Middlebury. Of course, there's a lot to be seen about exactly what that means and what the restrictions are going to be, but we are really excited to be holding a ride in Middlebury. We think we're going to be able to pull it off, and we can't wait for that. So obviously there's a lot to figure out in the meantime, but yeah, I hope everybody who wants to do it plan on coming to Middlebury.
Yeah, we think it's safe to start making those plans.
Yeah, totally. All right, let me see if there are some other questions. Can you, hang on.
Are we going to see you on the slopes? No, somebody asked if they were going to see me on the slopes next winter, and that is a definite yes. Definite top priority project is learning how to ski and embrace the winter. If I'm going to be there, I might as well do it right. And I have Kelly and Greg as my carrots that are along.
Are you going to be, I want to hear, are you doing alpine or Nordic skiing?
I want to do both, but I think the big project is the alpine. Yeah. Got to get that down. Like, you guys make it look so fun. I've got to get that. And then I have so many friends I could be able to ski with, so it'd be really fun.
So true. Zeke is asking us when the keg talks start.
Oh, the Kelly, Edie, Greg?
The keg start. I don't know who came up with it. I think Edie, maybe you did, but Kelly, Edie, Greg talks. So yeah, we have big plans to do some fun talks. Yeah, I don't know when. We don't have a timeline for those starting.
We'll start now that this is over. We'll start sometime soon. But yeah, it'll be really great. Just kind of question and answer. Kelly, Edie, Greg, the keg talks. We hope you'll come join us.
Totally. Here's a question. What are your plans? This is from Tony. What are your plans to increase exposure for KBF? Edie, you want to take that one?
Sure. We have many plans to increase exposure. We're looking at our social media and how we do that. We're looking at our communications plans. We really want to tap into the KBF community. We have so many supporters and grant recipients and people who have been impacted by their experience with the KBF and believe that there's a lot of grassroots action we could do, tapping into all the love that we have. So that's sort of, in year one, when we're still in this weird COVID territory and don't have massive budgets, we want to start with focusing on that increasing engagement and looking at ways to do more outreach through social media and other communications channels.
It's awesome. I love it all. There is a good question here about how do you get to people who are in the very early stages of your injury? Is it appropriate, or are people just trying to figure out how to do basic things and not really thinking about sports yet?
Want me to take that one too?
Go for it.
All right. So, well, Kelly showed you the Active Project, and we see that as a really wonderful educational tool. And you're dead on. It might be too early for somebody who's still in rehab. And one of the things that happens now, because of changes in insurance, is the average stay in rehab has declined from 3 months. It used to be 6 months back in the 70s. Now it's down to a month. So people go home from rehab at a month. And at a month into this kind of a life-changing injury, you're not thinking about sports, believe me. You're thinking about, like, how do I sit up and not fall over? How do I get into my wheelchair? How do I move? So our thinking is, how can we have some really wonderful partnerships with rehabs and adaptive sports clinics, and we want to start to offer educational segments, and using the Active Project would be a great resource to introduce adaptive sports to people so that they can have hope, so that they know it exists. They don't have to get out and try to get on skis then, because they are hardly able to get around in a wheelchair, but But as long as they know that that's out there, and then we can use the active project to, if they're interested, have them sign up, and then we can build a relationship with them. We'll know, okay, this person is now 8 months post-injury and we have a camp coming up in their local area. Let's invite them and just see if they're ready at that point. So the active project is a great way for us to start to build those relationships, and also to build further partnerships with other rehabs and adaptive sports programs.
It's so interesting, Edie. I know you're, I totally agree with you. We got a response from Anna, who is one of our awesome ambassadors, who said, I beg to differ. Learning about the KBF while I was still in the hospital after my injury gave me so much hope for how to return to the life that I loved. So I think, I mean, you're totally right though, that, you know, it's really hard right in the beginning, that most people aren't really thinking about adaptive sports, but some people really are. And knowing that that's out there, knowing that they're able to get to it, even if they can't get right to it right then, really can make a big difference. But that's a huge part of, like you were talking about, the active project, having people be able to look at it, see what it looks like, know they can get there, even if they're not, you know, able to get out and do it right away, is a huge thing. And we know so much, you know, I talked about this, but it's not just sports for the sake of sports, right? We know the benefits of being active after a spinal cord injury go way beyond that. So, so that's why we think, you know, it's so important. Let me.
Ellie, I saw somebody asked, what other events are happening this year?
For KBF events?
Yeah.
Great question. Well, the Kelly Brush Ride, we are definitely going to be doing the Kelly Brush Ride. This year obviously is a little bit different for events as the whole last year has been. We are going to be doing something similar to this, though smaller, out in San Francisco next month, which we are excited about, to hopefully get a crew out there. And hopefully we'll be able to do some smaller little events this summer to get people together in a safe way if we can do meetups and that kind of stuff. And we'll just have to see next year if we can get together for in-person events. Boy, wouldn't that be nice? Let's see. Let's do a couple more questions and then we'll probably let people sign off. But if you ski the adaptive sports, oh yeah, there's lots of chatter about lift tickets and if they're free or not. And yes, there's I'm glad that there's some chatter about that in the chat.
Where could I send suggestions for trails for mountain biking and cross-country skiing that would work for adaptive equipment? That's funny you should ask, Hallie Mundell. We're working with, well, Greg on our team, who you met, who was making cocktails, is working with, and Kelly, you can probably give the details better than me because you're a Vermont native, but is working with some trails up in Vermont to make them adaptive. So we're really trying to push the needle on how to make more trails accessible. And that's another sport I want to do, by the way.
Let's see. Any other questions? I'm trying to see if there are other ones that came up. Well, I will tell you, let's see. Oh, where can we order a KBF bow tie? That is a good question. I saw that. Oh, there's a question. How are my kids? Oh, my kids are great. My kids right now are 2 and Dylan is going to be almost 5. She's turning 5 in a few weeks. We were going to have them here tonight, but we decided last minute that was probably a bad idea because Zeke was going to be trying to put them to sleep during the event and you probably would have been hearing them and all that. So they're over at my parents'. I don't know if they're going to show up at some point. So that'll be actually sort of funny if they do, but they're great. They're having a lot of fun. Dylan had a lot of fun skiing this year. It was really fun to see her actually learn how to do it and really take off. And she was, you know, she was going down all greens, she was going down blues, she was making turns, she was doing great. So it was really fun. Unfortunately, it was kind of a different ski year because of COVID, and we didn't have they didn't have childcare open for Nell, so we kind of had to trade off and ski as much as usual. But it was still fun. I still got to ski with Dylan a bunch, and it was great. And Nell got on skis, even though it like hardly counted because she wasn't really skiing. She just was barely standing, but she's still on it. We'll do more next year. I think there's some more questions coming. From my dad. The kids just left the home, so they'll be here in 10 minutes. So we probably won't see them. Thanks to my mom for that.
Etsu asks, can you share separately perhaps some of the athletic gear manufacturers you work with?
Oh, absolutely. We can totally do that. Definitely.
Yep.
Question about adaptive equipment, and is there ever a way for KBF athletes to provide feedback for the companies with their R&D to help, you know, further advance functionalities and that kind of stuff?
I love that idea.
What's that?
I said I love that idea.
Yeah, you know, it's great. It's adaptive equipment, really, adaptive sports equipment. Boy, there are some people who really can talk about where this stuff has come from. Back in the 80s and 90s, people were literally, and even 2000s, I think too, people were literally like welding things together in their garage. And that's how they made the first mono skis and the first mountain bikes. And it was really pretty crazy, and it's become a lot more high tech, and we have really incredible technology now that's making this equipment and makes it really, really functional. So I know that there's a lot of research that goes into it. I feel like oftentimes there's, you know, an engineering class that's putting together a new kind of Nordic sit ski, and they're working with somebody. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities. I think sometimes we don't always know exactly where to go for those, but I can tell you the person to ask, and that'll be Greg, who's our program director. He would know.
It also means that the price for equipment has gone up dramatically in the last, you know, not so many years, just because it has gotten so much more highly developed, and it's not being welded in a garage somewhere. Well, it might be, but it's not for a one-off.
Exactly. We got another question. Will KBF have a presence at the upcoming Olympics or Paralympics? That's a great question. I sure hope so. We had one of our grant recipients has been a Paralympic gold medalist in the last Olympics, which was awesome. I think he is going to be skiing again. He was it for skiing, so hopefully he'll be doing it again. One of our other ones, Liam, who's on tonight, is totally going to be there too. That's my prediction anyway. He just started racing. But I don't know. I hope so. We love to support our athletes, like I said, anyway, no matter what they're doing. So if they're hoping to be in the Paralympics, then we're there to support them.
So should we take one more question, Kelly?
Let's do one more question.
Is Edie and the crew going to do the New York? Yeah, I am. I have my registration.
Nice. There's one more. What are the adaptive sports that don't necessarily exist yet or aren't super common that you guys think should be next? Well, that's a cool question.
Yeah, that is. I mean, we've seen grants for so many things, like for the sports that you would never even think have adaptive equipment, and they do. But
Zeke just put an answer in, and I 100% agree with him. Backcountry skiing.
Yeah.
How can you get, because doing backcountry skiing, skinning up, so you're walking up the mountain and then you get to ski down, is awesome because you get a really good workout. And you get to go back, you know, to all sorts of places that you wouldn't normally go. And that's really hard for us to do. We have yet to figure out how to do it, but I know there are some people out there trying to work it out, because just pushing up like is not feasible. So, that is something that I would love to figure out. I've got a bunch of girlfriends that always go together, and I'm always jealous and I want to go with them. So that is absolutely 100% any engineers out there, work on it.
It might need a little e-assist.
I think an e-assist would be a huge idea. Heli skiing is the other thing that Chris just said. Absolutely. I know people love
Isn't Anna heading out to do some of that?
I think that's the plan. Anna is hopefully going to be going out. Anna's one of our awesome ambassadors too. She's going hopefully to Alaska to do some heli skiing in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned and we'll see. I can't wait to hear how it goes. All right, you guys, this has been really awesome. I wish we could stay on longer, but I feel like I don't want to keep everybody. Thank you all for joining tonight. Stay in touch with KBF. We love that you guys are involved. We love the support that we've had tonight. I'm honestly been blown away about the support. We will tally everything up and let you know, but I think we have blown away our goal between sponsorships before the event and night of giving. So thank you all for now.
Yes, thank you so much, and spread the word. We want the message to get out.
Yep, absolutely. My gosh, I feel horrible ending this.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.